gets my hair tingling a little bit when we're talking decentralized cities and the future of how people will organize. You know, it's kind of like, I feel like almost a fetish of people who like are post-apocalyptic that we're gonna like all get into these Bitcoin citadels and do these things. So is that what you mean by building decentralized cities when you have that on the website?
It's really not. I hear you there, and I think there's a kernel of truth to that. I think many of us draw inspiration from, great science fiction like Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash or, Diamond Age, with this idea of these sort of post nation state structures, and I think we are headed towards that world. But I wouldn't call myself. An apocalyptic thinker or a hardcore libertarian or anything like that. I think what I'm much more interested in is how we start to take these amazing, flourishing online communities and manifest them in the real world.
Yeah, the other discussion I kind of wanted to have that we'll make our way into later in the episode is this idea that we're kind of coming out of COVID and kind of getting back into the IRL world in the meat space. And you guys are super positioned to at least push that narrative, right? That we should be less about finding or interacting with our tribe on Discord and more about interacting with our tribe in real life. Is
Yeah.
that kind of the narrative there?
Yeah, I think it's a yes and, right? I think that if you look at the kind of things that the internet's good for and the things that the real world is good for, they're good for very different things. And I think the path forward here, the sort of post-COVID world, is going to be a hybrid world, but not in the way that people usually talk about hybrid. So when people usually talk about hybrid, in like some corporate sense, they're talking about like, oh, we're going to do 3 days a week at home and 2 days a week in the office, and some people on Zoom and some people in person. That is like the worst of all worlds. And there's another form of hybrid that we're real believers in, which is you can live and work anywhere in the world you want. And, 95% of the time, you have total autonomy and flexibility about your geographic location. And then, maybe 5 or 10% of the time, you want to get together with people IRL and have the really deep, meaningful connections, the liminal time and space that allows for a creativity and a productivity and a focus on big picture and strategy that is not really possible over an hour long, highly agendaed, structured Zoom call. And so I think like you need both. And if you look at the people who figured this out better than anyone, it's online daters. Right? If you are looking for a life partner, there's probably no more highly motivated group of person than people looking for life partners to like try to find the right people. And what they do is, now if you look at a chart of how everyone meets, right, it's like online, apps have like gone through the roof. Everything else is falling off a cliff, but you don't stay that way. You tap into this incredibly broad, limitless, pool of people online. You find the right matches, you find the right people, you find your tribe, your community, and then you get together IRL. And you got to have both in order to have really, I think, fulfilling community-based experiences.